All right.
It's recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well, first thing, I'm going to show you the smoking. A lot of people over smoke and a lot of people under smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's about all you need for
Getting started.
And then every 10 minutes, or if they get fired up about something, but that's all you need.
How do you feel about walking in front of the hive like that? Because I usually just walk.
It's fine. It's fine. You don't want to work the hive from the front because then you're blocking their entrance and you'll have a cloud of bees behind you. But but just walking in front it's fine. It's not really that stressful for them, I don't think. Take this off. Just.
I'm gonna sit on the side and we can.
Yep. Now.
I brought this out because I thought we might want to put the.
Yeah, sure. Here's how I usually do it. I usually just take the top off and set it down like that. And then, if I take the super off,
you want to set it here?
Going pretty well. Take the super off and just set it down just like that, or the first hive body. And so that way you're not going to crush too many bees. It's good, just
right, cross
way to do it
like that.
And so we pulled that box off. Let's smoke a little bit there. That's all we need. Nice and calm. Now, I've watched you do your YouTube in that earlier YouTube video, and I'm going to show you the best way to open and go through a hive.
Okay.
Take out the furthest one. Look at it. That one, it's just, they're drawing it out. That's good.
Do you want to set it here?
Set it like that. You can put it in there. It's just, that's all I do. You only really need to take one out though, because the rest of them
you can just slide to the
side. Drawing it up. It's good to put honey in there. Now watch how I'm doing this tool. Just
popping it that way,
and then it just comes right out. If you need to pull, if you're in a hurry and you only want to look at one, put it in like this and pry it up from the side. Because I saw you putting that. Yeah, that's loaded.
Yeah, and this one where I was trying to use the frame grabber.
Yeah. They got good honey coming in right now.
Well, I've been giving them a quart a day.
Yeah. You're gonna smash bees. It's we're starting to get into their brood chamber. There's some larvae in there, and I'm trying to see if I can find some eggs to show you.
What's this right here? On the leg of this bee right here?
Pollen.
That is pollen?
Yeah, it's pollen. She brought it in. There's some young larvae in here, but no eggs. So, looks in really good shape though.
I would say it's you got to see.
Now here's something. This brood pattern is not terrible, but it's not really very good. See how there's a lot of capped cells
up on top?
Well, it's in here. See, this is really spotty. Like there's almost as many cells with honey as there are with a really good queen. You're going to see a really nice solid. It'll be all just like this. So that's, your queen isn't the best, but she's not worth replacing just yet. There's that bee that has paint on its wing right there.
Yeah.
That's the same one. It's got to be.
Yeah. It must be. I told you that, right?
Yeah, no, I saw the video. You were.
But the queen is marked, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the ones these are the things that came with the new crate.
No, this is a new one.
This is a new one. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of mine, I believe.
Yeah, it looks new. Actually, good.
There were 5 though. Yeah, but I'd say it is. It looks like my work.
Yeah. Actually, in this, see this frame, the brood pattern looks a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot more solid.
Yeah, I'd say that's my frame. I can tell you.
Yeah.
If I looked at the.
They didn't
hold that side.
Yeah.
That side. Let me just look right up here.
Well, you can just tell by the
mine.
wood. It looks newer. Looks like you didn't push the wire in enough. They didn't like it. But that's it's learning. And if you didn't, it's not it's not worth replacing it anyway.
And maybe that's something we could look at it.
But
I bought a crimper,
oh, okay, good.
but I haven't ever learned how to use it.
A spur embedder or
Yeah,
a
it's a spur
crimper?
embedder.
Okay, yeah.
Here. And that's not the queen either.
No,
that's another painted
another
one.
Painted one.
But
This looks good. This looks good. There's eggs. No, there's a really young larva. We'll find where she's been. She might be up top, which is awesome, actually.
well, there's a lot of stuff going on up top.
Yeah.
What's this right here? That's that.
That's a queen cell.
That's the queen cell
but,
that we looked at before.
Yeah, that's just old. That's just a relic. That's from a long time ago.
Do you ever break them off or no?
You can. It's not really that necessary, but it's just a. They'll do that. They'll last forever if you leave them there. Sometimes it's good to have a. That's called a clean cup. It's not even a cell. It's just a. It could be if they decided to use it. They could use it. But I'm seeing absolutely nothing to show you what's wrong with this. It's real good. Schmitz. Yeah. Really fine. Yeah. So this is your gut.
There she is.
Yeah.
Is that her? Or is it? Yep, that's
Yeah,
definitely her.
that's her.
She's
really painted.
Yeah.
Painted up. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 frames of 5
brood.
frames of brood, which is good for this time of year. That's good.
Do you want me to pull this
for
one
a
out?
first? That's just, you can leave that in because that's just honey. And this is exactly why I don't like Dura comb,
Right.
plastic stuff.
Mhm.
I just don't like it.
So that's one of his though. That he,
Yeah. Some beekeepers
So
swear
1,
by it. I
2,
can't stand
3,
it.
4, and there were 5.
Yeah. I mean, leave it in there, but I just can't stand this stuff. The bees don't like it. I don't like it. Now I'm going to. The only thing I'm going to do is try to center the brood nest a little more since it's here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to want it to be more in the middle. So I'm just going to keep it together, but spread them out.
A little bit of smoke.
No. Only smoke if they start getting agitated. So I'm on flying on your head. We don't even need veils right now. These bees are just awesome.
Any idea what the what do you call it? The species is? No
It's
guesses.
just
No.
Subspecies. I'm not a big proponent of classifying them as being Italian or Russian or whatever.
Mhm.
Just because here in the United States, it's all a mix. It's just a mix. There's no. If people are like, this is absolutely a purebred Italian bee, they're lying. Because there's no way. You don't know. I mean, the queen might be, but the workers aren't because she's mated with 15 different. I'm leaving just 9 in here.
Okay.
I don't think you need 10 frames because they get hard to pull out.
Okay. And is that the one you want to remove?
Yeah, that's the one.
Or there might be.
Well, we'll be pulling
Let's see what's
them out of the top. Now, a super you can leave 10 frames in, but for the brood chamber, I usually just run 9. Because if you have it too crowded in here, they will, when you pull frames out, you can damage them. They'll fuse them together, and it's too much, and you can damage things.
Okay.
So here's your brood nest. It's good. The one thing that you did before when you took a frame out and put it up top and spread it out, the idea was that you were trying to get them to grow the brood nest bigger, and that's a normal tendency. That's something you want to do as a beekeeper. But at this stage, you want to keep it together because the bees themselves, they want to grow. They want to propagate. The main thing that's going to help them propagate is the food. Making their brood nest, spreading it out is just making it harder for them to take care of everything.
Okay.
Now in the spring, that's a normal management technique. That's when you want to fracture the brood nest because then it won't feel as crowded and you're preventing swarming. So that's a swarm prevention technique, not a grow the hive up technique. But in the spring, you want to fracture the brood nest because if they're crowded in the spring, then they're going to swarm, and you do not want them to swarm because if they swarm, you lose half your working force, and then they're not going to make as much honey as you want them to.
Gotcha.
The whole point of beekeeping, this box, one box, is the size of a natural nest. Like that's, if you go out in the field and you measure all the cavities that bees like to nest in, this is a perfect average of that. As a beekeeper, you can start a hive off in this, so they like it, where they want to go. But then you can trick the bees by putting one more on.
Right.
And now they're set up in a cavity that's larger than their natural space. And so, for every hive, let's say a hive, you have 30,000 bees, and then you have another hive with 60,000 bees. For each of those hives, it takes about 15,000 bees to do the work, to do what needs to be done, to take care of everybody, to lay eggs, to watch the queen, to feed all the growing larvae and everything like that. And everything else on top of that is extra labor that goes out and does it. So by economies of scale, if you have a hive with 15,000 bees and a hive with 60,000 bees, you have 45,000 bees in the larger hive that are just doing nothing for you.
Cool.
So essentially that's what it is. The whole point of beekeeping is to maintain the nest larger than they want to be. And so that's why in the spring you want to fracture the nest, you want to make it feel, because that makes them think, oh, we've got all this room here
to fill up, instead of what they could be focusing on is like, look, it's getting a little tight, let's
get a little tight, let's get ready to go. And let's start looking for a new house and split the hive and everything else. So swarming is what you don't want, because that's...
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any
wax. This year.
I mean, wax moths, and I haven't seen any mites.
No, nothing. Actually, I'm sure we'll see mites, but
I hear they're bad right now.
Yeah, the mites. You know, you'll see I don't see a single mite.
I haven't seen them.
You see that in drone comb, but I didn't.
What was that black abdomen one?
That was just a genetic variation. They just
I see.
Different. This queen mated with probably 20 different drones. So these girls, they all have the same mother, but they may be one of 20 different fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why you'll see a lot of variation. Like her father is probably very different from her father. Her father is probably from a hive that was more black. You see this kind of, that's why you like,
it's impossible to say what
that might be an Italian bee, but that might be Italian-Russian hybrid, but that one might be completely different. Yeah. And if you're in Florida, you know, you're also dealing with that bee is Africanized, and that bee isn't. But this hive is still a little bit mean because the percentage of them are Africanized.
Right.
But up here, thankfully.
Let me ask you this: Do you paint your edges? Because I'm thinking that I painted all mine, and
I don't remember.
And I'm just wondering if
this
didn't stick together too much.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't stick, you're fine. You're good, actually. Because sometimes it will start to rot in between here if it gets moisture. So it's probably good to keep the insides painted.
Okay.
The only thing I don't paint is the inside.
Yeah, and I didn't. That was
just because it's a waste of time.
Would you brush this before we put the other?
No.
So
because there is bee space in between the top of this and the bottom of the next box.
Okay.
So let's just put that box back on. We found the queen, so sometimes if I didn't find the queen in this, I would probably go through this box on the ground, because
no worries about direction.
No, that makes no difference. No difference. So I'm gonna have you go through this one.
I think that this we see is empty.
Yeah.
We want to just remove it.
Let's just leave this one out.
Leave that one out, and then we might replace.
We'll probably take one more out. Probably two out.
And then place that one back in.
Yeah.
So anything on these foundations? Now as we're getting in right here.
Yeah, they're just building up. Honey.
Just honey.
Yep. Now the natural nest, they're going to keep the honey at the top and the brood at the bottom, which is why you add the honey supers on the top, because they put honey up there and then they want to keep their brood down below.
And add the excluder.
Yeah, I mean, if you have trouble, you don't. In Virginia, an excluder isn't as important as it is other places. Queen excluder.
Now I saw you, tapping tapping the. There we got an issue, right?
Yeah, for common. They'll do that.
tapping the wood box, and I understood that.
I think I might have just.
Yeah, just like that.
Maybe I had a bee on there or something.
Well, just talking.
Yeah.
So what do we do there? Do we
Let's scrape that off.
What's that a result of? Is that the
just a little bit of space? It just happens. Yeah. Get all the bees off of there.
Okay. So all honey. Should I try to scrape this one?
Yeah, sure. Scrape off.
Now, what is this? Is this honey or is this?
Yep, that's just honey. They're just building honey, which is good because going into winter, they're going to need 50 pounds of their own honey, and that's going to be. It's essentially one entire super full. So if they build this entire thing up with honey, you're set. If this is all honey, then you're set for winter. You're good. You don't have to worry about it.
So same.
But yeah.
No brood though, and we don't expect to see any up here.
No, they're gonna. Well, we might on one of these 2 frames, but looks like they're keeping it down below.
Does it look like they're getting a little bit more agitated, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
So why are they building this down at the
bottom? I don't know. There's just a gap somewhere. It might have been that one of these frames is a little bit askew. So right there, this here is bee space. Anything smaller than this, and they'll tend to want to fill it in with propolis, this substance right here.
Yeah.
Anything larger than that, they'll tend to want to fill up with comb. And so this is the bee space. Right now what you have is just foundation, so in between these gaps is more than bee space. And so they're
filling it out.
Tending to want to fill it out. Now once they draw all this comb out, they won't do that. But it happens.
And this same thing.
Yeah.
Cut this off?
Yeah. It's not absolutely necessary. Keep them going the right direction.
I think my tool is a little too sharp.
Yeah. It'll get dull. Stick it in the ground a bunch of times.
Well, I just killed a honeybee and damaged
They'll fix that. They'll fix that in 3 hours.
Okay, and now the same thing.
So
put this one back in. And that's got a little bit of larva in it. And what is it, egg as well? Or is that pollen?
No, this is pollen.
Pollen?
Yeah.
Now, we weren't able to see eggs.
No, we didn't see eggs, but I think we would have on that last frame that had a queen on it. I just didn't look. Once you see a queen, you're good.
You're good, and that's pretty much what
all you need. Seeing eggs is something that's in lieu of seeing a queen. But actually, I want to show you eggs. So let's go back down.
Okay. Pop it.
Let's pop it. So now remember, this is how you pry. Just pry like that. And you don't need your hand. Okay.
Yeah, because it.
Oh, here. There's eggs. Right in there. See, it's like a little comma down the bottom.
Yeah.
That's an egg.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So they're going from larger to smallest. That's an egg. Let's see if we can show the camera. Is it going to focus right here?
Yeah, it probably should.
You can see the smallest of the things. The nice black surface.
So now they're spreading out too.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit agitated, but not. Very nice,
Friendly hive.
Hive.
The ones up there, the ones that my buddy Adam captured, he said are really, really docile. Much more gentle than some of his other hives.
Now, put this back on. I usually take the stuff that has honey in it, and I'll put it there. They'll get all the honey off of it, and then you have just wax that you can scrape off later.
Would this be able for us to take and taste?
Oh yeah, you can take that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that and then put the lid on it. Just because Kelly might like to be interested in seeing what the girls are creating.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But I tell you, I know beekeepers that spend tremendous amounts of time
not to kill one.
effort not killing one, but the truth is, every minute that you have this hive open is stress on the hive. So you really want to minimize the amount of time that you have it open.
Okay.
Real professional beekeepers go in and just do an entire hive in no time at all. They're just like, okay, 5 frames of brood, we're good. Don't see any disease.
Is that the number you're looking for? Is like 5 frames?
5 frames is that's probably a minimum for a healthy hive. And this hive, since it's just started this year, that's good.
Well, how many of those 5 frames were not the 5 originals, or does it matter?
I think it doesn't really matter, but I think 3 of them were originals. I don't remember looking at the wood, but you don't even need a veil out here.
Yeah, it's really pretty sweet. When I don't know if you saw the watering scenario. Oh, I didn't feel it, but
see, if I stand here in front, see all these bees now.
That they don't know.
And the longer you stand here, the more they're going to be like, where do we live? Where do we live? But then as soon as you step to the side, they all just go straight in.
All right. Any issues with continuing with the...
Continue feeding until, I'd say, maybe 2 more weeks, and then change the feeding solution to...
That's 1-to-1 right there.
This is 1-to-1. Okay, so you've already changed to 1-to-1.
Well, yeah.
Good.
I mean,
good.
I've been 1-to-1.
Okay.
That was what Jerry.
So Jerry said, yeah, but you want 2 water to 1 sugar in the summertime. That's what builds them. When it's just 1-to-1, it's a heavier concentration
which they're
of sugar,
storing.
Which they're storing. Which is good. You want that for the winter, but 1 to 2 sugar.
Oh shoot, we forgot the pollen cake.
Oh yeah. You grab that in a second. You want to just plop that on top of the leaf chamber. I'll grab it.
Here it is. Here it is. So just want me to lift the hive body?
Yeah, it's the hive body. Plop it right on top of the brood nest. So it looks like 2 of the brood frames are new, 3-year-old, but it doesn't matter. No, but 2-to-1 in the
growing stage.
In the growing stage, 2-to-1. You want more water than sugar, because that mimics the nectar that's coming in. So it's an artificial nectar flow. And when they have a nectar flow, then they say, okay, let's invest this in more comb and more pollen, more everything else, and then so they're going to invest it in colony growth. Once it drops down to 1-to-1, they're like, this is good, let's store this. So when it's closer, more watery, you're actually stimulating wax production, you're stimulating brood production. The queen is going to gain weight, she's going to start laying more eggs.
And this is more 1-to-1 is more honey,
1-to-1
which they're going to store.
They're going to store it. So usually in the late winter, you want the dilute solution. All the way up to midsummer, dilute solution. Towards the end of the summer, starting in August or so, drop down to 1-to-1, and then go. But the truth is, next year when your hive is doing healthy, you don't feed them all the time. It's not necessary. It's just a new hive thing. And then if in midsummer, if you have multiple hives, you're going to go through and you want to see which ones are healthy, which ones have a lot of honey stored. Then you take off what you want, leave them enough to get them through the winter. And if they don't have enough, then you have to go 1-to-1.
What do you think? I think it's too late in the season to start a second hive.
Yeah.
But do you think ordering a colony is the way to go, or should I look for a local nuke?
Either way. Earlier in the spring, it's probably cheap. If you get an early start, you're going to want to order them soon. Get a package of bees. That's there. A nuke is more expensive, but you have more flexibility. You can get a nuke later in the year. But in like January or February is when you want to start new package bees. So February, early February.
What do you think? Should I try a package?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can also at some point collect swarms.
Yeah,
and I might be
absolutely.
able to expand the.
That's free, you know.
Yeah.
A collect a swarm is awesome because you just literally just dump it in the box. Dump it in the box. Take this.
Come back and verify
Take
there's a
this
queen.
with the bottom board and the top, and you know there's a swarm in that tree. You just literally dump them in the box.
Do you see this setup? This.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Screen bottom, and then I can seal the sides for winter.
Yeah.
So I don't have to change it from the screen bottom.
Screen bottoms, a lot of people use them. They've never been proven to have any effect on the rodent population.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. It makes sense logically, but nobody's ever been able to actually prove it works. I don't use them, and the reason I don't use them is because they fall apart after a couple years. They're just not as sturdy. So, but yeah, I mean that works. You can seal it up, and that's good. The truth is, though, in wintertime, one of the biggest mistakes people make is, now the bees in there, in the wintertime they get in a cluster, and in the middle of that cluster it's always 92 degrees. And as it's colder outside, the cluster gets tighter and tighter. As it's warmer outside, the cluster gets looser and looser. So they maintain their temperature just with body heat and how tightly they pack themselves. And they eat honey to get that metabolic energy it takes to make all that heat and everything. Now, if you measure the temperature on the inside of that cluster, it's always 92 degrees. If you measure on the outside of the cluster, it's almost always exactly the same temperature as it is outside. So it's just right within there. What people do sometimes is they will insulate their hive. And that's a terrible idea, because what happens is you insulate the hive, and then when it warms up outside, it's still below freezing in there, except for in the cluster. So you're actually, when you insulate the hive, you're making it harder for them.
Making a refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. You're refrigerating the inside of the hive ultimately, so the sun doesn't hit it. When the sun hits this hive, and that warms up the inside of the box, and then they can loosen up their cluster.
Do you paint your metal top? Leave it like that?
You probably can. But yeah, so the wintertime, you can close this up, it's good, but it doesn't really matter. It'll also just be fun because it's what they do. But like I said, screen bottom boards, I've used them, but I don't now because, well, I live in Florida now, so.
Right, so it doesn't matter. There is no winter.
Well, and also, fortunately, with the Africanized bees, they're a pain to work with, but they do a lot better at keeping Varroa out.
What about adding pennies or anything to the corners for a little bit of gap?
Oh, yeah. People do that. Really hot days, I'll just do this.
Yeah.
In a really hot spell, do that. Do this. Just give them a little ventilation without letting water get in.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people that, pennies work, just something. Sometimes people drill a hole in the box, just to give them a little more ventilation. In Florida, when it's really hot, I just do
just
put a stick in there.
I don't think it's going to really get to that here.
Mm-mm.
But I think, for here, I would be more concerned about moisture buildup and allowing the moisture to get out.
That's true. That's true. That's how they air condition their hives. Is they get water, bring it in there, and then fan it with their wings and evaporative cooling.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do it naturally. So, but you want to tilt, because in the wintertime, if you get ice in there,
it's on a little.
Yeah.
It's on a little, like 1 1/4 inch grade.
Mm-hmm.
And the water supply seems to have been working.
Mm-hmm.
I need to fill it. I don't understand where the water's going, truthfully, because I know they're not drinking a gallon as quickly as I'm giving it to
Birds.
them. Think so?
Maybe.
Could be. I haven't seen any birds land on it. But... Ooh, look at that.
Mosquitoes?
Yeah, man. Little sons of bitches.
But yeah, you're set. This is good. Just leave it. Hopefully, the winter. We didn't see much mites.
or any really.
And when mites do their damage is in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So if you have a big mite load now, your chances of losing the hive over the winter are high.
Yeah.
So we don't. But I didn't see that. So.
And then there's what to treat that with.
Varroa strips.
There's
chemical things you can do. There's some powdered sugar shakes that people do.
Yeah.
All that
We've
stuff.
talked about
There's
that.
all things you can do. But
yeah, I think I want to dull my tool a little bit.
They come really sharp.
And I don't know if you noticed in the other video, I went because I split the frame.
Yeah.
When I touched it, it split it.
Just stick it in the ground.
Yeah. Over and over.
Yeah, just a few times. They get
cool, man.
They'll get dull pretty quick.
I totally appreciate it, man. I think that was good fun.
No problem.
Cool. So that's the inspection.